and they're typically things that I don't speak on. Typically because they're polarizing, and I typically have sometimes a take that's not a popular take, and I'm a small channel and you want everybody to like you, but it's the independent male, and sometimes I am not going to say things that you're going to like, and have a feeling that my take on some of these initial articles may be one of those times. So Mike, Shaw, buckle up, and hope you stay in for the ride. There's been a lot of comments and innuendo, and I'm going to be frank, within the community that's somewhat disturbing. I'm gonna actually check out a clip from The View, and then we're gonna speak on that for a few minutes. So let's check it out right quick. Ooh, probably got to hit this button to share a clip. Here we go. What we got, lady?
Caitlin Clark, because she's the breakout star of the WNBA right now with the highest salary in league history. Yeah. And a $28 million endorsement deal from Nike. And in a new article in the LA Times about her success, sports journalist Jamel
Hill.
That is a hard one, though.
It's a
Every time I say her name, it's a hard.
My lips just failed.
Yeah, it failed you.
I felt them start and then, It was like real. So let me try it again. Jamel Hill compares Clark to Steph Curry for being relatable to fans, but claims the fact that she's a straight white woman plays a big role in the hype around her. It's not the numbers that she puts on the scoreboard. So I want to point something out. She is the NCAA's all-time leading scorer of men and women. In February, she broke.
And I paused this right quick just to put Shara's comment on the screen. I am going somewhere. I am where Shara just said, does anyone really care about the WNBA though? And that's a valid question, especially pre-Caitlin Clark. Pre-Caitlin Clark. Very valid question. Very valid question. That's where I'm going with this.
The woman's record. In March, she broke Pistol Pete Maravich's 3,667 point record. She's had more 30-point games than anyone in the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay? She holds a single season 3-point record for women. She's the Big Ten's all-time leader in assists. Now listen, when people say stuff like that, that's like people saying, oh, you only got into this Ivy League college because you're black, or you only got this because of this. This girl earned this. I'm sorry.
Now, as much as we don't like hearing what Whoopi just said, that's exactly what's happening in reverse to Miss Clark right now. And I might add, I feel like she has been as gracious and as humanly possible, acknowledging people that came before her, trying to be a good a teammate, actually, and besides the competitiveness on the court, reaching out and actually being a good colleague, if you will, to opposing team players. So I kind of don't understand why this lady is getting so much hate. I don't. And let's be specific. Why she's getting so much hate within the community? Why?
There are great players, but nobody else has done this. So I'm not mad that they gave her basketball, but I will suggest to Wilson that one of the things they might want to do, Wilson is the people who make the basketball.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Hank.
We could suggest that in, what is the word? To honor the women who play in the WNBA. Maybe they should do a series of balls.
Yeah. I like that.
And please, do not make them pink, okay? They don't need to be pink. Just make them regular basketballs, because there are some extraordinary players, and she is part of the reason that people are now paying attention. I'm telling you, I'm having the hardest time today.
You sound like me on a Monday.
Yeah. that people are paying attention to the WNBA.
Wow, lady.
Okay.
Yes.
Take this baton from
Yes,
me, please.
do that.
No, I think what Jamel Hill was saying is important. We need to identify communities that have not gotten the spotlight. Paige Buckers from UConn gave an amazing SB speech about 2 years ago, giving her award essentially to the black women that preceded her, saying although they won 80% of the awards that year, they got less than half of the media coverage. All of those things can be true. I think uniquely with Caitlin Clark, she cannot be reduced to much beyond her statistics because a number is not biased. It just is what it is. But I think that she's also been good about addressing those who came before her. She knows that, like Maya Moore, her idol, came before her. She's been very reverent in saying it was all these women that opened it up and built the sport, and she's taking it a little further. It also can't be forgotten that she came from Iowa, and I say that not just as a proud Iowan, but Caitlin Clark could have gone to a much better basketball program. She made a deliberate choice to build a program. A lot of times people talk about a GOAT being only if you have rings. Caitlin knew going into her choice at Iowa that she was going to be building a program under the tutelage of Coach Bluter, and she took pride in staying home for that. Iowa doesn't have professional teams. We don't get to follow much. So although everyone got on the Caitlin Clark train eventually, Iowa was so thirsty and hungry for a player they could follow and believe in, and you felt like you were a part of it. So that was the beginning of this gusto. LSU, UConn, all these amazing programs. It's like we're back in national, cool. Yeah, we were there last year too. You know, like, so they didn't have quite the same oomph as this Iowa program had, and that's part of the reason Caitlin Clark has also been such a big deal.
Okay. So, you heard the Views tape. I can't believe I'm doing a reaction to a View clip. Wow. But I did like that piece. And you heard what sparked this off when Whoopi was referring to Jamel Hill's or I did what Whoopi did, article where she pretty much said that a lot of Caitlin Clark hype is because she's a straight white woman. All right. But then if that's the case, this is my question.
Are you such a fucking loser? You can't tell when you've won.
Are you and the rest of the WNBA that's complaining about this? Are you such losers that you don't know when you've won? And the reason I'm asking that is, let's say yes, she's getting overwhelming popularity because she's a straight white woman. People gravitate to things that they identify with. Okay? So instead of complaining about why the extra eyeballs are on your product, why not take advantage of the extra eyeballs that are on your product so that you can generate more fans, so you can generate more revenue, so you can keep people out of Russian prisons? Isn't that the point? You guys have been crying about not having equal revenue, not having equal airtime on TV, and we're not even going to get into the specifics about the demographics, okay? I did this before on the show. Men are 29% fans of the WNBA. Women are 11%. The product is for women. They're not the ones that's consuming it so much. But regardless of that, if this lady is bringing extra eyeballs to the product, you should embrace that instead of complaining about why they're there. Because the fact is, people do gravitate to things that they identify with. And if I'm wrong, maybe you guys might remember this from like the 96, 98 time period.
Earlier this week, Serena Williams said, it seems like it's everyone against us at times. And that's a burden to carry for these two. But now it's each of them against each other for the U.S. Open Championship. Serena Williams to serve first.
Never seen Tiger hit a shot in my life.
I do remember this.
So I said, I'm going to watch this shot. And when he hit it, I looked at my caddy and I just was like, holy. He's the best golfer in the world and he's 21 years old. And I think that's unbelievable.
He's the best golfer in the world, and he's 21 years old, and he thought that was unbelievable. Remember that? Remember that? Late 90s, Williams sisters hit the scene. More eyeballs on tennis, more eyeballs on women tennis. Who were the more eyeballs? It was us. It was people of color that weren't typically watching tennis, but we started watching tennis. Why? Because there was products on the court that we identified with. So what is wrong with Caitlin Clark bringing more eyeballs to the WNBA? Because there's a swath of the country that identifies with her. When we enjoy it, we like to make sure that everybody acknowledges the greatness of our athletes that break through a field or an area that they normally hadn't broken through in. We want to celebrate it, and we want the nation to celebrate it. So why can this young lady that has been nothing but gracious as far as we've seen, why can she not enjoy that same type of benefit? And why can the league not embrace that and capitalize on it? When Caitlin comes to your town, show us why we should have been paying attention to you the whole time. Beat her team. Show us y'all got game. We're watching. Capitalize on it. That's my 2 cents on that. And I gotta pop Shara's comment up right quick, because this comment came up because I was talking about the demographics as far as who was watching the WNBA and who doesn't. And even though the WNBA is a product that's put on, the court to inspire young girls, but is a product for women, and they don't watch it. And as Shara says, they would rather gawk over that dude. Wrong, lady, Brittany Griner. But most ladies, they'll take themselves on girl dates to an NBA game where they can sit there and look at dudes, but they're not going to do that for the WNBA. You know what I mean? So support the product. So my thing, we got more eyes on it. We got more eyes on it. Embrace the more eyes and quit, making comments and worrying about why the more eyes are there. Capitalize. Now, getting over to some old, oh my God. I got to put this up on the screen because this is a question, because it goes into the rest of this What the Club. I want to know from you good people, when is it okay to be an ass? Because these next 3 clips they're basically tied to that. And this got me on definitely. I'm trying to figure it out. So anyway, everybody has a threshold in which we say, and pardon, the quote unquote French is not that bad, but what we say, to hell with society. As society, we make rules of how we're going to operate and conduct ourselves. But then there's a threshold that if quote unquote something happens, then you ignore that agreed upon societal rule. I'm trying to figure out where this threshold is, because it seems to be all over the place. What we got here? All right. Okay. Shara's answer is when somebody doesn't take the hit under normal circumstances. So let's see if some of this applies in some of these stories. They might. Speaking of being an ass, let's see when else it was okay to be an ass recently. This is a good one, because these are people that aren't supposed to be asses. They're supposed to be professionals. Matter of fact, they're supposed to be running the joint.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
That's beneath
would
even
you
order.
please forget the order of your committee?
Order.
Please. There's a point of order.
We have a point of order. It's not a point of order.
I do have a point of order, and I would like to move to take down Ms. Greene's words. That is absolutely unacceptable. How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Oh, really?
Don't even play,
Baby girl, I don't think
we are going to move, and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
Why don't you debate me?
Mr. Chairman,
The minority.
Pretty self-evident.
You're not.
Yeah, you're not. You don't have enough
You're out of order.
intelligence.
Chair recognizes Mr. Perry.
Okay, move to strike
I'd like to strike
the
those words
lady's
as well.
words.
I would like
The lady's words.
Jesus.
Chair, point of order.
Who's?
It's me.
Miss Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
part of
I'm
it.
trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike
I had
those
no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just
You just voted to do it.
Okay, and now Miss Crockett has completely taken the bait, and I'm getting ready to show my ass.
First, so you don't want to talk about
voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Look, calm down. Calm down.
No, because this
I
is
would
what
like
y'all
to get
do.
through proceedings.
So I'm trying
Hey,
to get
Miss
clarification.
Crockett, you're not
Y'all wanna
recognized.
play
Miss
games.
Crockett.
I can't hear you with your
And
yelling.
You don't want
Calm
me to
down.
Be,
Can you please calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all
Please
talk
calm
noise,
down.
and then you
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
Because if I
Look,
come,
Chairman,
if I
can
come
we
and
send
talk
out
about
break
her,
for 5
y'all
minutes?
gonna have a problem.
Mr.
Order.
Chairman.
All right, Chair.
I don't know why
Okay.
you're
Order.
All right, so Marjorie Taylor Greene, good old MTG. Oh snap! She came out with the first blow with the whole eyelash thing. Was she trying to be cute? Yes. AOC. Oh, not today. Oh, baby girl. Oh, girl, baby girl. Bleach bun, blonde, bad built butch body. So everybody took turns being jackasses in Congress, on the stage for everyone to see. I loved Social of Truth's response when she basically said everybody involved act like a bunch of either elementary or high school kids, children, to paraphrase. Because the thing that's been disturbing to me about watching the reactions to this whole episode, it's been partisan AF. That's why I appreciated Social of Truth's take, because she is a conservative woman and she called it out as being sophomore behavior down the board on both sides. She did. What I've seen by most people is they ignore what their person did, and then they just jump on what the other side did. So, been seeing a lot of fist pumping, a lot of celebrations about the 5 Bs, about the bleach blonde, bad built butch body. And I'm trying to figure out why the Democrats celebrating that so much. And when I say celebrating, I'm talking about t-shirts, bumper stickers. And I saw an article earlier today, probably because I was searching it too much, that they actually trademarked it. They're trying to trademark the 5 Bs. They're proud of it. Okay. My only take about this, besides everybody being asses, my thing about it is my brothers and sisters on the left, they love to point out hypocrisy on the right. Particularly, they love to highlight the Law and Order party tends to ignore law and order when it comes to 45 or the January 16. We get it. We got it. Hypocrisy. Well, this whole bleach blonde, bad built butch body is Democratic hypocrisy to anybody that's paying attention and keeping score, because the party of pro women and pro rainbow, I don't know all the letters all the time because they keep adding them, so I'm just going to say rainbow. There is a conflict there. There's some messaging that is not adding up, that is seeming hypocritical. And what do I mean by that? What's butch? Butch is a term that is referring to a lesbian woman, a stud, if you will. So what was Miss Crockett implying or trying to project by putting Butch Body? She could have used anything in front of that body with a B. She could have used bogus. She could have used anything, but she chose Butch on purpose to insinuate that Miss Greene either looked like a man or transsexual. That's what she was trying to imply. And that's what she got her giggles with. And that's what they want to put on t-shirts and bumper stickers. Well, that's fine if we're at a comedy club. But the problem is the Democratic Party says that they value the rainbow community. They value that coalition so they can have those votes, just like they value the women so they can have those votes. But something is not adding up. So the women of the party are always marching strong for rainbow rights and rainbow activism when the cameras are on and when they're benefiting from it. If they're friends with particularly gay men in the community and they get to go out with them and have things provided for them without being romantically involved with them, they get to have protection. They get to go on vacations. Sometimes these individuals have professions that women end up being able to benefit from. They're in fashion. They're in hairstylists, things of that nature. They reap all of these benefits from the community, and that community supports all of their causes, and that community is overwhelmingly Democratic. But then as soon as some of these women get mad at straight people, they call them a rainbow term, not an endearment. It's meant to be derogatory. So there is hypocrisy in that messaging. Either you value the rainbow community or you don't. And the weird part is, I thought they just did it with men. When they got mad at a man, then they call him a derogatory rainbow term. Nope, we do it with women too. We'll call you Butch and we'll put it on a t-shirt. Just my thoughts on that. I just didn't, I can't figure out why the Democratic Party is celebrating that. Hypocrisy. Let's see what we got here. I'm missing comments because I'm on a rant. I told you I'm losing subscribers today. I am done with you. We cannot, Shara, we cannot go to the Aaron Burr days. We cannot go back to the Aaron Burr days, all right? We can't have our politicians walk outside the Capitol, go back to back, take their 10 paces and turn around and draw. Make sure they got their white gloves. I do believe they did that at the end of John Wick 4, though. That was hot. Yeah. See, to throw on shade back. Mike, you in here too, boy. You on here. Let's see, April. Oh, That's what I was. Standard of truth. Yep. Standard of truth. Love it. Let's see. Thanks, Shara. That was the purpose of do they actually? I mean, and again, I know both parties do some pandering or whatever for votes, but I just can't believe that they were so egregious with this one and celebrating it because they got a little snappy comeback with some alliteration. But did you pay attention to the Butch part? Like, bro, y'all should not be highlighting that. Anywho, but again, I guess it was okay at that time to be an ass because that's what everybody was doing. All right, party people, let's move on to the next clip in which it looks like it was okay to be an ass. I know I'm gonna lose some on this one because it's not that I'm disagreeing with a couple of my favorite content creators. It's just I'm trying to understand the angle a little bit. So maybe you guys, Shara, Mike, maybe y'all can help me understand. And to those of you that just came in, welcome.
Been invited to something only to find out that what you were invited to
Why are you still
had
up?
nothing to do with you. I'm gonna tell you like what I mean. I was invited to an interview one day, and the person didn't even ask me anything about what I was about, what I was trying to do. It was a podcast. And it was recently, like a year ago. I was real busy. I made time for these particular people. I was thoroughly disappointed. It wasted my time. I told a similar friend, I will never work with those guys ever again. Never. Okay? Like, didn't even inform me what the topics were going to be. I was trying to help these guys out. Never. That's why I have never appeared on any other podcast ever since. If you don't come to my podcast, which is the Kingana podcast, I will not come to yours.
Ginger.
Never. You had to pay me a lot of money for me to come. Anyways, this is the same thing that happened with Cameron. Cameron, who has the Come and Talk to Me brand, It Is What It Is show, was invited to CNN. And obviously Cameron is a celebrity. Cameron was in the New York rap scene, although under the, kind of the Harlem World umbrella with Joel Santana, Jim Jones, and guys like that. CNN brought him on to talk about something different other than his own accomplishments, which led to this interaction.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I mean, is there something known in the industry about how Diddy treated his artists?
So I'm going to get some cheeks after this horsepower joint. I'm just going off what Mace said. Mace took me to Biggie. I don't really know Puffers like Mace know Puff. So I appreciate what Mace said, and of course, that's my brother, so if he felt that way, then he felt that way. I can't really tell you how Puff moves or anything like that. Mace may know better than me because he was signed to Puff, I wasn't. But my show does come on at 8 a.m. Eastern on YouTube. It's called It Is What It Is. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. And I might get some more information out of Mace from there, but for me to tell you how Puff acted and all that, I don't know. I never was signed to him.
Yeah. What about the industry in general? I mean, so many people have pointed out that Diddy couldn't get away with this stuff if there weren't a lot of people protecting him. Do you think that's the case?
Who the talent agent for this joint? Like, you think I'll be sitting around watching what Diddy doing all this? I didn't know this was a Diddy joint that I was like,
you didn't?
Y'all, who booked me for this joint?
All right.
I'll be sitting around watching Diddy and all that. Yeah,
Thanks.
Come on, man.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Newsnight. Laura Coates Live starts right now.
So guys, you saw that interaction. We thought he was ghetto for how he handled it. He was not professional in how he handled it. But I want to say something. Go. Okay? That's what I want to tell him. First of all, these individuals, and I'm talking about CNN, you brought this guy on not letting him know what he would be talking about to talk about Diddy. Do you think this man has worked his whole life to talk about Diddy, then to make a viral clip off of him talking down on Diddy?
All right. So that's O'Shea's take. And I'm going to go on another take before I say anything about this. And then we're going to move on to Ms. Heniard's latest scheme.
What about the industry in general? I mean, so many people have pointed out that Diddy couldn't get away with this stuff if there weren't a lot of people protecting him. Do you think that's the case?
Who the talent agent for this joint? Like, you think I'll be sitting around watching what Diddy do and all this? I didn't know this was a Diddy joint that I was inviting me to. Yo, who booked me for this joint?
All right.
Wow, and I don't be sitting around watching Diddy and all that. Yeah,
Thanks.
Come on, man.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you for your time tonight.
Rapper Cameron went viral after his interview on CNN. Apparently, Cameron didn't realize he wasn't booked to talk about himself, his products, or his popular podcast with fellow rapper Mace. Instead, he was booked to talk about Diddy and Cassie. And by the time he realized producers wanted nothing to do with him, they only wanted him to be a part of their Diddy programming, Cam was so annoyed by it all. And that's how we got this moment here.
Okay. This is where I'm confused. I'm going to say Matter of fact, let me cue some Lil Wayne since Tiffany Hidyard is coming up next. Always got to pop that Wheezy Wee when Hidyard's in the building. But this is where I'm confused. I'm going to go with O'Shea and say CNN, and I'm gonna preface this by saying I get it. A lot of us don't like CNN, and that's where I'm going with this. Is it because we don't like CNN? It was okay for Cameron to be a complete jackass on national television in front of thousands of people. That was okay? And I'm wondering if it was okay. And again, I'm giving the benefit that CNN, a national news network, when they booked him, they didn't tell him why they were booking him. I'm going to go with that argument. They didn't tell him why they were booking him. They just said, hey, Cameron, out of the blue, come be on our show. Mystery why. Okay? We're going to go with that. And he thought that this national news network that doesn't specialize in music, doesn't specialize in hip hop, they specialize in news. But let's say he assumed that they wanted to talk about him and his podcast. And then it didn't happen. And they asked him about the actual story du jour, story de week, story de year, because it's going to keep going with trials and stuff. And that gave him, when that was the line of questioning, instead of asking him about his podcast, he had to write. To be a jackass and represent the community like that. And so here's my thing. First of all, I don't buy that CNN didn't tell him what the interview was about. When you go back to the part where he's, hey, yo, man, who booked this joint? Who's he talking to? He's talking to somebody that booked the joint, somebody that got the details as to what the interview was about, to somebody that he probably didn't pay attention to, but I think he did pay attention to it. I think he knew exactly what the interview was about, and he planned that whole thing to go viral for his particular demographic in his podcast. He showed up in his Gilligan hat and his Lokes on. He had no intention of being engaging. And then and shouts out to PBL. I love PBL and I love O'Shea, but PBL says it was because he kept getting the Diddy questioning why he reacted that way. Well, check this out. He didn't go anywhere to go get that shot of whatever drink stuff he was promoting, where he like, I'm finna go get some cheeks after this on the network news. No, he had all that stuff sitting there already. Meaning he intended to do that. But again, being devil's advocate, let's say I don't think he intended on doing any of that. Let's say CNN unprofessionally booked him and didn't tell him why. That still gave him the right to go embarrass everybody like that. That's my only question. And then the other thing is, anybody that's seen stuff like this knows that typically they give you some time at the end of whatever it is they ask you about to plug whatever it is you're doing. We never got to that because he decided to be an ass first. And it looks like it was justified. And I'm the only one that's an idiot because nobody else is saying anything about it. Everybody else is like, yeah, man, they didn't ask him about his podcast. They didn't ask him. All they did was ask him about Diddy. You know how many people they brought on to ask about Epstein? And they were professionals in all kinds of sectors, and the interviewer didn't hardly ask them anything about that stuff. They asked them about what they knew about Epstein parties. It happens. Anywho,